LLM social simulations have a problem, and we need to talk about it. First of all, why do we even want to make LLM social sims? Well, there are a few good reasons, besides just hype. First of all, if we compare LLMs to classical rule-based ABM agents, the amount of social complexity one can hope to model promises to be much higher. Instinctively, we would expect that an agent capable of complex reasoning would be a better proxy of human behavior than just a series of if-else statements. This is relevant when aiming for a simulationist objective, which means that what we care about is fidelity to the real world. LLM-based sims are already a very hot topic. There are many works, scattered across disciplines with varying levels of rigor and reproducibility. Our position is that validation of LLM-based social simulations has not kept pace with the proliferation. The field needs to pivot from expansion to consolidation. To do so, we need shared benchmarks, open data, and reproducible evaluation grounded in social science. Only then can these tools responsibly inform high-stakes decisions. We are not the first to point this out. Some have argued that much of the Silicon Society literature fails to evidence operational validity. The PIMU principles constitute a very good set of tenets to guide research in this area, but they are not yet paired with the frictionless reproducibility approach made up of shared benchmarks, datasets, and protocols that have been successful in adjacent areas of machine learning. Before articulating the existing problems and our proposed solution, we need to define what a Silicon Society is, and thus what it is not. Here, we're only talking about simulations of human social interactions that are primarily driven by LLMs. We exclude traditional ABMs, but also goal-oriented multi-agent systems like coding swarms and such. Let's have tau be an n-agent system trajectory of length t with environment states at each time step, as well as observations, internal states, and actions for each agent. A Silicon Society defines a distribution over trajectories where X denotes the simulation specification, things like prompt, templates, environment roles, while theta denotes agent and environment parameters, model weights, temperatures, things like that. A Silicon Society's evaluations are then a function of trajectories. Many claims made in the literature are ultimately about statistical properties or dependencies within distributions of trajectories. LLM-based social sims are much more expensive than classical ABMs. This means that they need to demonstrate clear advantages. However, what we find in the literature are many impressively large simulators that are basically unusable for research because their alignment with real-world behavior is weakly evidenced at best or straight up unknown at worst. We can identify some common pitfalls. We have works equating qualitative plausibility with distributional correctness, anecdotal examples, hand-picked trajectories, and evaluations focusing on low-dimensional projections, like summary statistics, rather than on trajectory distributions, are not sufficient to evidence real-world alignment. Seeing LLMs as human behavior proxies is the initial assumption of social simulations, but it is not a given. Empirical evidence seems to paint a very mixed picture. Without explicitly testing agent-human correspondence, downstream conclusions about social dynamics rest on unstable foundations. Design choices in simulators are often untested. They're sometimes motivated by cognitive theories or practical constraints, but rarely subjected to systematic evaluations. We don't know if components are necessary, if some are missing, or if findings are just design artifacts. Even without being exhaustive, we can see that the current practices are insufficient. But we're not here to simply criticize. We propose solutions. Frictionless reproducibility, in which a set of shared research practices allows comparable and reproducible results across research groups, has proven successful in machine learning so far. In our paper, which you should totally read by the way, we outline a set of formalized learning problems and objectives that we hope will help transition the field towards more rigorous and cumulative science. If you believe any of this sounds interesting, check out our paper for a detailed discussion. Bye!